y'all don't consider yourselves like trust fund babies, just had a lump of cash. Like you are normal folks that just
Right.
took this leap of faith and say, I want to do this, and gosh dang it, doesn't matter how, I'm going to make it happen.
Exactly.
You're normal. Welcome to another episode of the RV Voice. Today we have a very special guest. Another special guest is Gills On Wheels, Patty and Shane Gills. They've been on the road for 4.5, pushing 5 years, and they have 2 RVs. So that's why it's even more special. They travel in a truck camper. They just did a full year trip in their truck camper, and they've been living in their fifth wheel, which has been stationary down somewhere in Texas for 4.5 years-ish. So welcome, Patty and Shane Gills.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us. We're excited to be here.
Absolutely. I'm glad you're glad to be here. Yeah. You guys have been supporting me, so I really appreciate that. And I've been watching you guys' journeys, and we actually may have crossed paths in Alaska, and we're in 2 totally different states. But hey, we were there. Actually, my cousins were at the car launch up in Alaska that you were talking about.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah. It was, there was a lot of people there though.
Mm-hmm. It was he's actually from Texas too. He's
oh, even better.
Yeah. Do you know where you ever heard of Scurry?
Scurry.
I've heard of it, but I don't remember. Is that near Dallas?
It's just southeast or southwest of Dallas. It's kind of by Terrell.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, we're in Fort Worth right now, actually.
Very nice. Yeah, that's on the northern side, right?
Right.
Yeah. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I almost grew up in DFW, actually Garland. I almost grew up there, but we didn't. I'm kind of glad because I do not do well in major heat and humidity.
Oh, yeah. So, it's hot. Yeah. It's still hot here. That's why we went to Alaska to try to escape the heat a little bit this summer.
Yeah, it's a different animal up there, but it's wonderful. It's so gorgeous up there. So I'm happy you guys were able to do that.
Yeah, that was fun.
All righty. Well, let's dive into this personal journey of yours. You guys started about 4.5 years ago. I kind of want to know what inspired you to transition into full-time RVing, and can you share your story of how you first got started with RVing?
Sure. So about 20-something years ago, I think we bought our first travel trailer. Mm-hmm. We were stationed in North Dakota. Shane was in the Air Force. We were mostly overseas, so we traveled. We usually would move from one base to the next about every 2 to 3 years was our average. So we're used to moving a lot. We kind of have nomadic blood in us from the military. And then when we would be like, say we were in Guam, we would travel to Australia. When we lived in Turkey, we traveled to Egypt. So we've always liked to travel, and we had been like all over the world pretty much in the military, but we'd never been in the States that much. I mean, we hadn't really traveled, as much in the States. So we had talked about when we got our travel trailer 20-something years ago, hey, what if one day we're thinking like when we're in our 70s, when we're retired, going, selling everything, going full time in an RV. And then a couple of years ago, more people started doing it at a younger age. And, it just became a lot more mainstream, I guess you call it. So people didn't like when we first talked about it 20 years ago, people thought we were crazy. But nowadays it's not that crazy. So many people do it. So it's not. So we just decided in 2018 or so, we started talking about it and decided to sell everything in 2020 and put the house on the market and everything. And then, of course, we all know what happened in 2020. So that kind of pushed us off to, I think it was like November. Was November or October? October was when we, the house sold in October. But we had already moved into our RV that summer. As soon as we put the house on the market, then we went ahead and moved into the RV. So technically it's like a little over, for about 4.5 years that we've been full time. Do you want to add anything to that?
That's where it started.
Yeah. We just always like me in a few words.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
So preparation and planning, right? So it takes a lot to gotta roll into that. You're going from a house, you've been there for X amount of years. You guys were
Right.
travelers. You were nomadic lifestyle, being in the Air Force, traveling around the world. Thank you for your service, Shane. I appreciate that. Couldn't do it myself. Don't do well with authority. But anyway, preparation and planning. We were actually just talking to Peoples and Places not too long ago about how they did it. Going about selling your house, selling everything within the house, because it's a totally different downsizing, minimalistic lifestyle living in an RV.
Right.
What steps did you take to prepare to live full time in an RV, and how did you choose your first RV to do so?
Right. So that's probably one of our biggest questions we get asked is, how do you do it? Like, because some people, for us, we moved every couple of years. So every couple of years when we would go to move, the military only allows you to move a certain amount of items, like a certain weight that they're going to pay for. If you go over that weight, then you've got to pay out of pocket. So every time that it was time for us to move, I would go through every room. So I was kind of like, that was kind of my lifestyle already, going through everything and just purging, like donating all these things, like, because after a couple of years, you know how it is. You just start accumulating stuff. So I was I guess I could say I was pretty good at that, like just going through stuff and purging, donating, having garage sales, all that kind of stuff. So once Shane retired, we sat for 8 years. Sorry. 8 years. We sat in San Antonio. We bought a 3,500 square foot house, 2-story. Yeah, it was huge. And then we were like, okay, this is our forever home. Let's fill it. And that was our thinking at first, So of course we had just so much stuff. So, but once we sat down and we're like, okay, this is what we want to do. We don't want to we have this huge house. Both of our sons are in college, and it's like, all we're doing is staying in this one little space. You're either in the kitchen, the living room, or you're in the bed. So it's like, why am I cleaning all this? So I first started probably a year out. I would suggest at least giving yourself 6 months to do it. I've heard of some people just like doing it, super fast, but we gave ourselves a year, and we started we would start with one room, and we would go through every little thing. And in our garage, I had things that I wanted to sell at the garage sale, things that we were donating, things that were trash, and things that we put in storage, because we wanted to keep all of our items that we bought overseas. Like, I have a grandfather clock that was hand built in Germany. I didn't want to sell that at a garage sale. That's more sentimental than, anything. So we did put things like that in storage, which is nice. Now our son bought a house last year, so he has it in his house now. So that, so we just kind of would go through room by room, and then, just kind of get rid of everything little by little. We had garage sales, donations. We had people like family members, friends and stuff come over if we couldn't sell something, and we would just give it to them because we're like, we've got to get out of the house. So, but we just kind of started a year out and started going through everything.
Wow. Yeah. I would like to start that at my parents' house. But I get it. There's a lot of things that, mean something and they worth something, and they don't want to, I get it, but it's not an easy thing to go through a house that you've been in for a decade.
No, not at all.
That's a lot of stuff. It happens quickly too.
Right. And some people are a little harder to get rid of certain things. Some people are a little bit of a hoarder. So that would be Shane. But no, I thought too that it would be really hard for me. I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get rid of these, things that I've had for years or whatever. And for some reason, it was really easy for me. It was freeing. Like, it was almost like a weight lifted off. It's kind of crazy. Like, I still kind of feel that way, like because now we're living in like less than 100 square feet in our truck camper. And it's just so nice because it takes me, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes to clean the whole thing. It doesn't take long, and I don't have a lot of stuff. Like, sometimes stuff just kind of weighs you down, I feel. So it's kind of freeing to get rid of the stuff, I feel, anyways.
Well, if you ever come through Boise, I still got stuff to get rid of.
All right, I
moved out here from Nebraska, and I lived in the last place in Lincoln for about 7 years, pushing 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
And basically my adult life was that. And I had to, buy things, tools, other things, whatever it may be. I had 3-4 motorcycles. I had 7 go through that whole place because I used to flip them for fun. And when I moved out to across the country, I was like, holy crap, I got a lot of stuff. A lot of it doesn't mean anything. It just, I have it because I have it. And
right. Yeah. And it happens
at least
in the
from where
RV
I grew up. Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry. I said, yeah, it happens in the RV as well. Like things start accumulating. So you still have to go through. Yeah. Every once in a while.
I'm wondering, we're kind of cutting out. The connection's kind of.
Uh-oh.
I think it's actually me. Give me 1 second here.
Okay.
I think it might just be my phone. So I'm a little worried there. But anyway, I think we're going to be good.
Are we good? Okay.
I had that issue majorly. And I still have that issue. I just find stuff, I'm like, why do I have this? And it's like, I don't know if I could ever just live in an RV. It'd be freeing. I'm sure it'd just be like, just weight off my shoulders. Just like, oh my gosh, I got all this stuff gone. But then like, at least the Midwest lifestyle, when I was there, it's like the tractors 3-4 times before that were in the backyard. Why? Because you could go pick a part faster than you can get it in. Just how it was, and we had stuff around. I mean, I'd go pull something off this Jeep to put on this Jeep because it'd work. And I've done that. I grew up doing that. So like hanging on to stuff was just part of the lifestyle.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Yeah.
It's different.
But you figure out that once you've done it for a while, you just kind of figure out that you don't really need, it'd be great to have a tractor or a truck or an RV or whatever, where you can just go pick some parts or whatever, but you learn how to find them. There's like so many RV stores and RV, manufacturers, repair places, kind of all over the place, like you guys and stuff. And you can, you can find it out there.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's, and we're trying to make that easier with Bitch Fix, so
right. Exactly.
It's all coming full circle. We're getting there.
Right.
Yeah. And if I have to go into an RV for a while, it's going to be a little weird for me, but I'll make it work. I'm pretty minimalistic when I travel. I traveled all over Europe, and I've been down to South America, the southern point in Patagonia and stuff like that. And I can live out of a bag for weeks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And go ahead.
Then you could definitely live in a camper then.
Yeah, I'd probably make it work a month at a time. Let's start small. I don't want to go full time in a year.
Yes,
that'd be tough.
That's a great tip. Start out small.
Yeah,
short
work
trips.
yourself into it. Dip the toe.
Exactly.
Try slowly.
Yeah, that's always been our advice, actually.
All right. Well, so you guys. You kind of have that lived with the Air Force. You went all over, and I'm so happy for you. You guys got to see a lot of the world. A lot of people don't even make it out of their home city, which is crazy to me. I can't even imagine. I mean, everything gets bigger over time, right? But for you guys see a lot of the world, which is incredible. But your daily life and routine has changed several times throughout your lifetime, right? When you were in the Air Force, jumping around the world, obviously that was semi-minimalistic lifestyle because you were jumping around. And then you went back into, I guess, a normal lifestyle, living for about a decade, right? Yep. And now you're back on the road doing that. So what does your daily life and routine look like? You are content creators and you do a wonderful job. So I appreciate it, especially when you pull out the Michelobes. I'm like, yes, I love these people. But how do you manage it all? Because it's a totally different lifestyle. You're living in 100 square feet, like you're saying, versus your nice 3,500 square foot house. Now, like, what's cooking and cleaning look like? What's laundry on the road look like? What's all that? What's that look like?
Yeah. So you want to tell first what your daily looks like?
Mine's easy. I get up in the morning and basically I go outside, and that's where I spend my time.
He's retired, so he's earned that.
I'm happy for you.
Unless we're traveling, though.
Then
if we're traveling, yeah. So he gets up and we get breakfast, all that kind of stuff, and then if it's a travel day, we get everything put away and then not hook up. We don't hook up with the truck camper, but if we had the fifth wheel, we would be hooking that up, and then we drive, to our next destination, set everything up. And then even if it's, whether it's a travel day or not, first thing I do, I always like get up before Shane. I like to get up early first off, and then I like to get up because I need to usually go on and I need to answer emails, or I need to answer DMs. I need to make a post. I have to, how it is when you make a post, you have to engage first, then you make the post, then you have to engage after. Like it's a lot of work to do all of that, reach out to companies and, all that, send invoices. Like that's usually what I do. So that's, whether it's a travel day or not, I have to figure out when I'm going to get in some work. Either it's early in the morning, or once we get there and get set up, then I'll do it then. And we're constantly making content.
Oh yeah.
So that's another part of our routine. Is like, even this morning, I told Shane, we're about to pull out of a campground. I'm like, okay, we haven't filmed us pulling out of a site in a while, so go ahead and then I'll follow you. So it's like, constantly lots of video and lots of pictures like that. I mean, that's just part of our life being content creators. So that's always a part of it, whether it's a travel day or not. You have to make content to make content.
Absolutely. And have you seen anything like content wise that's like easier than I've seen some nothingness go viral.
Oh yeah. That's yeah.
You know what I mean? You're just sitting there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are like kind of, I think now, like right now, for some reason, those are kind of hot. Like if I just do a video of just Shane and I sitting by the camper, put like something on it, but it has to resonate with people. Like you have to put something on there that they're like, oh my gosh, yeah, that makes sense. Or that's me, or I want to do that, or whatever. Like we put, we're empty nesters. So we might put a caption on there about being an empty nester, and this is what your life can look like, just hanging out by the campfire, whatever it might be. And if somebody's like, well, I'm an empty nester, I want to do that. And so they, then they'll share it, or they may comment on it or whatever. And so as long as it's like something like, to me, I found the content that takes me like, a minute to make versus an hour always does better. Yeah. It just always does.
Why? I don't know. You put all your heart and soul into it. And like, this should be perfect.
I know, yeah.
I've been the same way. I've done it.
So good.
Some of my best put together reels that I do like on my own time for fun, because I go travel and hike and dirt bike and all that stuff, and those never do anything. Mm-hmm. And then like the ones that I have, just like me walking out to sit down and it says something, just takes off 3,000 plus views. I'm like, well, geez, and Pete's, the other one got 100.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're saying, and I don't know what it is now. It's like those are the ones, but I've always tried to, like, when people ask me like content creation advice or whatever, I like, what you want to share is something that you want other people to share. Like you want them to be like I was saying, like that resonates with me and that makes sense. And I like that. And I'm going to share that. And so the more, the more shares, then the more the algorithm kind of pushes it. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. I had one, I just had one like me with a campfire, like, hey, share this somebody you want to go sit by a campfire and drink a beer with. And it took off. I mean, it just went nuts, which is great. And I don't know, it makes it simple. But not all of them are simple. And you guys do a great job at it. That's why you have 150-ish thousand followers on Instagram, and you're doing great.
Thank you.
When did you guys start doing that?
On Instagram?
I guess either.
Yeah, probably. It was like right before we went full time. Like I have a lot of friends. I used to work at the hospital many years ago, and a lot of friends that were kind of younger, and they were like, why don't you have an Instagram? You need an Instagram. And I grew up in the MySpace and Facebook era. Like, I'm like, what is Instagram? I don't even know what that is. Yeah. And so so they finally talked me into it. And they're like, you know, you could share all of y'all's, because I would just share our camping, like, hey, this is where we're camping this weekend. This is what we did or whatever. And people kept saying, we love watching your stuff. You should have your own like page, you know, like, oh, like have a, like we started a Gills on Wheels Facebook page at first. Then they're like, well, you should do Instagram. And I'm like, I don't even know what Instagram is, you know. And when we first, right when we first got on there, it was pictures, but it was almost right after, almost immediately after where the reels started. And I had a cousin that was younger as well. And she's like, you need to make reels. I'm like, I don't know what that is. So,
Real moments.
Yeah. So I guess it's been about, a little over maybe 4.5 to 5 years we started the Instagram page. And then it didn't really start taking off until we went full time. And then I started making reels, and just some of our reels just started going viral. It was, I don't know why.
Well,
Like
well,
you
you've
said,
done a
you
great
don't know
job
why.
at that.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I'm sure you've had, since you've been starting this 4.5 years ago, you've had some challenges, right? Obviously, I mean, again, you're living in an RV. It's a home on wheels. It's going down the road. Earthquakes every time, hitting hurricane force speeds. There's going to be problems with that. But what about other challenges that you have? What are the biggest challenges that you faced while living in an RV, and how did you overcome them? And how do you handle maintenance and repairs while on the road? And other challenges and solutions, whatever it may be.
Yeah. What's the challenges? Any challenges that you think?
Yeah, all of them. I mean, it's day to day. There's different. I mean, you have a challenge today, don't mean it's going to be tomorrow. But then there's another one. Just depends on what it is. But as far as the maintenance and stuff goes, for me, it's pretty simple because in the military for 24 some years, that's what I did. I was a mechanic, and I just fix stuff.
Yeah, that's definitely helped us. And that's a good, like, you know, it's good for us that he's able to, he's very handy. And like, I think that helps a lot if you are an RVer. Not mandatory for sure, because there is YouTube and there is, like you guys fish RVs. So you don't have to be handy, but if you are, that definitely helps for like I don't know. I mean, if it's a huge problem, he's going to need some help.
Well,
but
and especially if you've got somebody that actually knows what they're doing, and I can talk to them on the phone and they can walk me through it.
Right.
I kind of know what they're talking about versus somebody that's just never done it before. So I'm kind of lucky, I guess, in that part of it. But the challenges, they don't ever end.
Yeah.
Or the mistakes never end. The challenges never end.
Right.
But it's not something that deters me from doing this every day. I mean, they're nothing you can't overcome. So
right, like anything could happen. Like, I mean, we've been lost. We've gone down roads that were like, it's a dead end, and we're pulling a 42-foot fifth wheel, and we're like, what do we do now? We've had to. We accidentally went on an ATV trail in Alaska. We thought it was a road, and we were going miles and miles up this road, and come to find out it's not even a road. So we had to back all the way to like a tiny spot. Like, I mean, it's always something. Anything can happen, and we just have to learn. Like, we had friends with us, and she was like in tears, and and I'm like, I've tried to tell her, I'm like, we're gonna get out of here, even if we have to call a wreck or whatever. We're gonna get out of here, and then we're gonna laugh about this later. And that's exactly what happened. We got out of it, we figured it out, and then you laugh about it later. Like, I mean, things happen and things break in life. They might happen a little bit more in an RV, probably a lot more in an RV, but you just have to learn to roll with it and learn that that's a part of RV life. And you have to, like, that's one thing that I've really had to learn, is how to just kind of be like, okay, instead of like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? You just learn to, I've learned to like kind of chill a little.
Because of me.
That is true. He has taught me that. That is true. He's always taught me that, though. I'm always high strung.
if I can get in it, I can get out of it.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world.
Right.
Well, I wouldn't want to pull a 45-foot fifth wheel anywhere up a mountain and then turn around and have to back it all the way. That gives me anxiety, man. I grew up on a farm back in trailers, but dang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had, things break all the time too.
Yeah, one of my biggest challenges that I can remember pretty vivid was going downtown Louisiana. There was construction, or New Orleans.
New Orleans.
New Orleans, and then all of a sudden it said the bridge was, or the underpass was only like 12.6.
That's right.
I can't fit there.
Yeah.
So I had to figure out this little place, turn around, and then I had to go through actual town in this downtown New Orleans with this big old thing behind me.
Yeah.
And you got cars parked on the side, people at red lights on the side of you got to pull away. It's that was challenging, but
yeah,
like I said, I got into it and I got out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
kind of is what it is. You do what you got to do.
That's his motto. It is what it is. That's true. It is what it is.
See something sweet?
Yeah, right here. It is what it is.
Oh, dang. That's awesome.
Nice.
It is what it is, man. You got to keep going.
That's awesome. That is Ben Shade's motto. He had a commander when we were in Portugal. Where did he have it over his desk or something? I think.
Did.
Oh, you had it over your desk. Oh, okay. I thought that the commander had it. Oh, okay. But yeah, I had a big sign that said, "It is what it is." That's
my last fling hated it. She was like, "How are you so chill all the time?" I was like, "Well, it is what it is." I mean, if something goes wrong, you're like, "Well, that sucks. Let's figure it out." Here we go.
Exactly,
yeah, nothing I can do about it, but I can fix it.
Yeah,
absolutely. Like, well, I was supposed to go through this apparently.
Exactly.
Oh,
I mean, it's only going to make you stronger, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, with those challenges, I mean, you guys, I luckily, like you said, I kind of grew up in a place where I had to fix things, right? I was tearing apart carburetors at like 9 years old on my old motorcycle because I had to. My float would always there was a hole in the float. So like I had to pull that out and I took a hairdryer or something to it to burn out the fuel. But I knew how to do that at a young age. Just throw the jet back in and off we go, kick it and go. But other challenges, I'm sure, financially aspects, it's a totally different animal when you're on the road versus living in a home that's stationary. How do you sustain this lifestyle? I'm sure being ex-military, pension of some sort. So you got that. You also are quite successful as a content creator. So I'd count that as well. But how do you sustain this lifestyle? And are there any specific tips you can offer to someone? And then like just trying to go on the road. And then what about budgeting? Because, staying at RV parks, you guys, I'm guessing you do a lot of boondocking because of your truck camper and all that. But what would you give as advice for people that are trying to do this?
Well,
you want to do first?
Well, you're correct. I got a pension and I got a disability thing from the military that kind of pays what bills we can. But what we did was we paid off all our bills before we kind of started this. Mm-hmm. So you have to live within your means. I mean, you can go out there and spend a bunch of money if you want to. It's very easy. Or you can just live within your means. You don't eat out every night. You don't have to stay at these parks that are, $90, $100, $150 a night. You can boondock. People think they can't. You can. It's not that difficult. Mm-hmm. All you go out there, fill your water tanks, and that's all you need. Mm-hmm. But you just have to live within your means. It just like I know how much I have to budget for a month or what have you, and I don't go outside that, and that's what just keeps you on the road, Right. And here comes next month. There's the paydays, there's the bills out of the way, and here we go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And we also use there's money saving apps out there for gas or for diesel or gas, or there's, campground clubs and memberships that you can use as well to save money. I mean, there's tons of ways to be able to budget and to be able to okay, here's what I have to spend. And so then you just figure it out. Like it's a lot less expensive to stay at a campground for a month than to stay for, one night or 2 nights or even a week. All campgrounds that I know of, they do if you stay for a whole month, it's a less of a price. They give you a discount. So that's one thing. Don't move as often. Also, don't move as often because then you're not spending as much, gas or diesel or whatever. For us this summer, I mean, this whole year pretty much though, with the truck camper has been a lot more moving than we were used to, because we used to be, well, we still are when we go back to our home base in Texas, we're work campers. That's another way that you can also make it work. If you, like, say you're a pension, or maybe you have a part-time job that you can do from the road, or even a full-time job, but you're like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to, survive off of that traveling. Then you can work camp. You can go and get a job at any campground, any state park, national parks, even places like Amazon, the Beet Harvest, JC Penney, I think still does it. I'm not sure, but there's like companies and campgrounds that you just do a job for them, whatever it might be. It could be a full-time job and they pay you as well, or it may be just for your campsite and your electric or whatever. So that in itself saves a lot of money if you don't have to pay for your campsite or your electric. So that's a way to do it. You just volunteer. Like, you can volunteer. I do, for our campground in San Antonio, I do their social media for them. So if you're like really good at social media, you can offer that to a campground. Like, hey, I can take over your social media if you give us a campsite or whatever it might be.
That's where the fifth wheel is. It's in that park.
Yeah.
She's been doing their social media on the road since we've been in Alaska and all that stuff. So they've allowed us to keep our fifth wheel there. So we don't have a payment there.
Yep.
Perfect. Yeah, that's one way to go about it, I guess. I mean, you just got to create partnerships, create relationships along the way. I mean, right. I'm guessing you've been doing 4.5 years. You guys have been killing it, doing well. So, yeah, I mean, I saw your breakdown. It was like one of the first things I saw from you. I followed you on a couple months ago, and it was what did we spend in a week in Alaska or something like that?
Oh yeah,
and I was like, oof. That was a big one.
You can spend as much or as little as you want. Right. We had budgeted for that. We knew what we had to spend. Yeah. We knew what we wanted to do. You don't have to do the same things.
Yeah. It was also a once in a lifetime trip. Like, we don't normally spend, obviously we don't spend that much money on gas because we don't normally drive that far like that. Like, just to get to Alaska and back was a lot of money in gas, but like, we stayed a lot at, we boondocked a lot in Alaska to try to kind of offset the cost of the gas. But then every once in a while, we did splurge. We're like, we're in Alaska. Of course, I'm going to take an airplane over Denali and see a glacier. And of course, I want to, splurge a little and hike on a glacier or kayak or whatever, like some of those things, we did splurge a little. So we did spend I would say a lot more than we normally do. Yeah.
Yeah. But we knew it was coming.
I mean, we prepared for it. We saved up for it. Like, if you're going to Alaska, that's, budget for it and prepare. And that's why we showed that, to let people know, like, you might want to save up, like, this is how much it could cost you to go there. It could be less and it could be more. So it depends how you want to do it.
It's going to be no joke. You're driving up to Alaska, the Alcan Highway. I've heard good and bad. I've heard wonderful views, but it's going to beat the snot out of your car.
That is correct.
But it's way better than I hear it used to be.
Yes, that is true. Yeah.
But it's not I-20 or something like that. You got to watch.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, major danger too. I mean, there's some spots that are like, you're dead if you go off. You're dead. You're just you're dead.
Yeah, definitely saw that.
They forgot to put the guardrails on a few of them.
Oh my goodness. Canadians, huh? They live a riskier lifestyle, apparently.
Yeah.
Well, kind of going into that, you have your camper down there at whatever campsite in San Antonio. You've made some community and some connections along the way, and you've done a great job of doing so in the last 4.5 years. How do you stay connected with friends and family while traveling? Because, I mean, you're going all over the world, all over the U.S. and all that. And then have you found a sense of community within the RV community? I mean, that's how we found each other, and I appreciate it, because I wanted to do something else besides sell RVs, and here I am doing this, and I'm enjoying what I'm doing. So kind of walk us through that.
Sure. You want to tell how we keep in touch with everybody?
Well, I mean, I can name a few of them. As far as most of the friends on the road and stuff, fortunate again, military. People I've been stationed with, I probably have at least a friend, if not a few, in every state in the United States. And we've done it, I don't know how many times so far, just drove by and stayed at their house, visited with them for 3 or 4 days, what have you. Matter of fact, we just came from a good friend of mine that we stayed at their house for 3 nights.
Yeah.
And that was cool. As far as family, that's why we come back to San Antonio. So we do our trips and stuff, and then we come back and sit for a little while, and our families are there. Then when we do travel, normally we go to the east side first, so we stop by and stay at Patty's family for a while.
Yep.
And,
I'm from Georgia.
And it's, I mean, you don't get to spend like normal families do together, but I mean, we get to see them a few months out of the year, and then we go off and see everybody else.
Yeah. But if we are on the road though, we do, I mean, we're constantly texting. We call back and talk to, you know, whoever, FaceTime if it's a big event or something. And then like when you asked about the friends that we've met on the road in the community, is probably some of the, like the military community to us is probably top of that, but I would say the RV community is definitely right up top with the military community. Like we've met some of the best people ever, and since we've been RVing full time, like there was 3 of us families that just drove all the way to Alaska. We didn't know them before we started going full time. Like we've met them, like I think we met them both at the Tampa show, and started talking. And then of course talking through Instagram. I mean, that's a big one, you know, is meeting people through Instagram, and we're like, oh, hey, we're in this area, or hey, we might be at the same campground or whatever. Don't even realize it till you get there and post about it. And like, you can always like count on each other. We did, there was maybe 6 or 8 of us last winter, and we all boondocked together at Quartzsite for about a week, I think. And every day somebody was helping someone with something. Like either the kids needed help with something, like their bike broke, or they wanted to learn. Like we had a friend that helped Shane he put it in the DC charger for our solar. And then somebody else's son, I think, was in and like kind of learning for homeschool, and was like trying to learn how to do that. So yeah, and we were always helping each other out.
Yeah, then I taught a couple of them there how to change their oil.
That's
they
right,
want to change oil, and I'm like, what do you mean you want to learn? That's the easiest thing to do, but they didn't know.
Yeah,
But
not
that's
everybody
people
grew up like, you know, us or whatever.
But that's the people you keep up with, and then the way to meet a lot of these people are some of these shows, like the Tampa show, the Hershey show, just anywhere there's an RV show or a rally.
Yeah, rallies are.
And you
good
meet
place
these
too.
people, and you just, you know, it kind of kicks off, and you just keep in touch with them. Like we switch Instagram names or whatever they're called.
Handles.
Yeah, you switch the handles, and then you follow each other, and you just keep in touch. And down the road, you're gonna run into them somewhere.
That's true. Yeah, I think we all kind of end up. I mean, especially if you're content creators, you're going to end up running into each other, especially at, like I said, the shows, the RV shows and stuff, which we love. That's one of our like favorite things. Like today we had time before we had to check into this campground. I'm like, you want to go over and look at some RVs? Like we just love looking.
Gets me in trouble because I know she's looking for another one.
Yeah, I am.
Oh, geez, you already got 2.
Well, I know. Well, we're wanting to get just one in the middle, because we have the big, huge one, and we have the small one. So we're wanting to do something in the middle. We haven't decided exactly what yet. But
trying to get rid of or get out of 2 and get into 1.
Yeah, one in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the plan. For 2025, we're hoping in the next few months, maybe 2025 is Nobody knows that.
Looking at bitches, you know.
Breaking news.
Help you out.
Oh, there you go. That would be awesome.
Yeah. Okay, so 4.5 years, you met some awesome people. You've seen some awesome things. Obviously, I mean, you just went up to the Alcan Highway. I mean, that's the British Columbia and all that. I've heard that's one of the best things ever, and you have to do it. And I will drive up there. I got a buddy that lives in Palmer, so I will get beautiful. There. But what are some of your favorite experiences along the way, whether it be sights, people, things you've seen, things you've eaten? experiences that you had with fixing something or filming something. What are some of those experiences?
What's some of your favorite?
Well, what I tell everybody, my favorite thing to do is when we travel and we go somewhere like that, is kind of to see the look on her face. When we turn the corner, she sees a mountain, whatever, up Denver, Colorado, wherever you're at. And she's like, oh my God. And then turn the next corner, and then she's like, no way. Oh, then turn the next corner. I thought I already saw the beautifulest thing I ever seen.
You're making me cry. I didn't know that.
That's my favorite part of it. But
yeah,
just to see, I don't know, just because, I mean, if you like me from Texas, and when as a kid, I never really got out of Texas, and then went to the military, and I figured out this travel thing, and then come back, and I'd never been to Colorado in my life, and you go up there and drive, and like, oh, wow, you know, that's cool. And Utah, Idaho, Yellowstone, all the stuff. I mean, I could name off probably 100 of them Alaska even. I love that place, but I don't know. It just never ends. I love it all.
Yeah.
I could do this forever.
Yeah. Like we start to get the itch. I don't know if you've seen that reel where they're like, I'm starting to get the itch or whatever. And it blinks to that. Like, that's how, if we like right now, I know we want to like just sit for a little bit and relax after driving, you know, so far all the way to Alaska and back. And just to kind of sit for a little bit and just kind of recoup. But I say we're supposed to be sitting there for 3 months, but I know like after probably a month, not even probably, I'm going to like start getting the itch. Like to us, I don't know. It's like kind of what, like, it makes us happy. It makes us feel like we're living to go out and see these things and stuff. Like, absolutely, we miss our family and our friends and our sons, but like, I don't, like, it's helped our marriage as well. Like, we've become closer because, and I know some people are like, oh, I could never live in an RV with my husband, like 24/7.
And we don't have a lot of choice because our house is about this big.
Right.
Yeah. Like you're rubbing shoulders basically all the
time. All the time. Yeah. And I'm not saying we have like a perfect marriage. Not that, you know, we don't, they're like, oh my God, you're driving, you know, you get that way sometimes, but I mean, you get that way in a house too. You know, you just kind of, you learn to, you know, you have to learn to take your space. Like, okay, I need my space. I need to go outside or whatever it is. But like that, I don't know. This is like, it makes us so happy to travel. And we love like all the experiences, all the views, the food, the beer, like, you know, we love breweries. We love eating local food. We try not to eat the local food as often. Like if we go somewhere, maybe we'll eat once a week instead of every night or something. But yeah, we did splurge and do a little bit more in Alaska. But
boy, yeah, they have tons of breweries left in everywhere you look. Every other building's a brewery.
So many breweries there. Wow, some good ones too. Really good breweries up there.
But they've got some people up there must not have very big tolerance or something. I don't know, because they only let me have 3 beers in each brewery.
Yeah, that's a law in Alaska. We found that out.
So it's actually my buddy. He's a brewery hopper up there, and he'd say apparently it's a they don't have the same license as like a bar. It's a little different because I've been there and I've had plenty more than 3 at a bar, but like the breweries.
I was like, they let you have as much as you want at the bar, but not at the brewery. But now that makes sense. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Cause I don't remember exact rule or law behind it. And I might not be 100% correct with that wording, but
yeah,
it's something goofy about up there. But they do have one at Alaska Brewing called a Matt Porter. I don't know if you guys ever had that. It's like 3 beers in one. It's like an IPA, a red, and either a porter or a stout. And it's like, I mean, I could drink it for breakfast. I have drank it for breakfast. Hello, listener. I would like to take a second to thank you for listening, and we appreciate all the love and support that you've given us as we've grown the RV Voice. If you have not yet, please hit that follow or subscribe button, and please tell your friends about us. Also, feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to hear any feedback or suggestions that you may have. Now, back to the show. But very good beers, but awesome.
Yeah,
I appreciate that you guys had that. But what's some unexpected benefits along with this favorite experiences? You know, you said you guys has made your marriage stronger, and I've heard that from other couples as well. I talked to people in places recently. They said the same thing. It's like, we have to go through and talk this out. I can't just jump in the car and drive away. It doesn't work like that.
exactly.
So what are some other unexpected benefits from the full-time RVing lifestyle that you guys have, I guess, experienced?
Anything you could think of?
No, I mean, just to me, it's just all of it. Unexpected for me is getting to travel. I mean, I don't know how far we're going back, but like growing up as a kid and all this stuff, I was never supposed to be in, like say, Colorado or California, or I mean, I never dreamt of that stuff. And to me, that's a benefit, getting to see all this stuff. Is just that is the benefit.
Yeah.
To me, for me.
I think also too, like the like our friends that we've met, like the RV friends also, like that was kind of unexpected. I really wasn't expecting, like I thought it's just going to be us on the road. It's just, we might say hey to somebody at the camp, like you think. So that, so yeah, here's one. Okay. I just thought like when we had our house in San Antonio, we knew our neighbor right beside us and we knew the neighbor on the other side of us. We didn't know anyone else of our neighbors. Like nobody would come outside. Nobody was outside. They would come out just to do like one thing or whatever, but that was it. They were not always out. Yeah.
Get the friendly wave.
Really meet yeah. And so I think in like at a campground or whatever. Where are you going? Oh, sorry. I don't know if you can pause that. He has to go to the bathroom. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Should I keep going? Well, shut the door. I'm going to. I'm sorry.
That's a unexpected benefit. You guys get real uncomfortable.
Oh, jeez. I hope you can pause that. I'm sorry. I apologize.
I can cut it if we needed to.
Okay.
I think it's fun though. It's RV. Hey, you're in the RV. This is part of the experience, baby.
Oh, it's definitely part of the experience, especially in this tiny space. I mean, the bathroom is right. Like I can almost touch the bathroom from here. It's very, very close. But I forgot what I was even talking about now.
So the neighbors outside. Yep.
Yes. So we never saw our neighbors hardly. You never see them outside. We didn't really know them. Because people just like you work your 9 to 5. Most people in San Antonio had a commute into work and then they commute home, so they get home. They don't want to do, they don't. And I don't blame them. We hardly ever did either. But now because, we're not working a 9 to 5 and we're outside just so much more, especially in the truck camper. We found ourselves, outside a lot more. And then you just get to meet so many more people. Some like people at the campground, or like you said, like we were talking earlier at an RV show. And I don't know, it's just like you just get to meet a lot more people. So I would say like, yeah, definitely the people that we've met. And I just wasn't expecting it. I thought it was going to kind of be the same. People get to the campground. Like we saw that a lot before we went full time. People, like if we just go for a weekend somewhere, we're like sitting outside, hanging out, playing games with our kids or our sons at the time. And we're like, where is everybody? And like a lot of the people there were just sitting inside. And so, yeah, I think it's been nice to see that there are people like us as well that like to, be outside and hang out and meet us and sit and talk and sit around a campfire, have a beer with, or whatever it might be.
Well, you're around like-minded people, right? People that live in the suburbs, they, like you said, they go to the 8 to 9 to 5 or whatever it may be. And they're like, I just want to go home and do nothing on the couch. Well, I completely understand that because I do that.
Right. Yeah.
After, hey, I got to cook food, got to take the dog for a walk. But after that, I don't want to talk to nobody. I'm kind of drained out.
No, I get it.
When I go out camping or traveling or whatever it may be, I like to talk to like-minded people. And you just kind of gravitate towards that because that's just what people do. I mean, you find people with the same experience or same likes. Obviously, you gravitate towards them and make friends kind of for a lifetime. I actually met a guy. I was in Prague, Czech Republic in 2019. Met a guy from Florida. He was on the same bar crawl. And like a year later, he's like, "Hey, dude, I'm coming through Nebraska. You mind if I crash?" I'm like, "Sure." I'm like, "Come on over." I got some guy,
so awesome.
just like right time, right place. His name's Duncan. I still talk to him every once in a while. Cool dude. Like, what are the chances?
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So another thing too that I would say is so many people that are campers and RVers are like probably some of the nicest people that we've ever met. We were going through Alaska and we had people sending us messages on Instagram, never met them before. And they're like, "Hey, we have property that you guys can go stay on if you want. Or we've got our driveway if you want to come stay in our driveway." And even here in the lower 48, people are saying that now. Like, the more followers we get, of course, but people are like, "Hey, we've got this property. If you're passing through, come stay with us. We don't mind." So it's like that's been, and I still can't believe I'm doing that. Like stay at somebody's house I don't know. Like my mom is.
Well, I'm
always
sure
worried
Shane's strapped, so I'm not too worried about it. Yeah.
Well, not so much because we just drove to Canada. So
yeah. Oh yeah, you couldn't, could you? Yeah, my cousin, who's actually from Texas, he actually drove up there in their truck the same way. They kind of do. They've been living remote. I mean, randomly Airbnbs for years. I mean, they lived down in Cancun for a while. I went down there and saw them, and they just happened to be in Alaska the time I went up to Alaska. And honestly, Shane, you and Alex are like same person. So chill, laid back. I mean, yeah, you guys would get like, you even look kind of similar. So, but yeah, I mean, he said he couldn't take anything up there, and he couldn't even buy one up there. But I mean, you're on the trails. I mean, geez, up there, grizzlies are no joke. I would like to have one.
Yeah, that's what we had, bear spray.
But yeah, so you met a lot of cool people along the way. So that's favorite experiences. I really appreciate it. You guys have gotten closer over time. That's awesome. But as a beginner, a lot of those things are like maybes. I don't know exactly what they would be, but like, what other advice would you give to somebody that's wanting to start to full-time RVing? Because it's no joke to try and do this or want to do this.
Right.
And then you do it, you pull the trigger. You could fall flat on your face quite quickly. And,
definitely. Go ahead. What?
I don't know if he was finished. I thought he was.
Sorry.
The question is what are the top 3 to 5 things you tell them? Like, here's what you need to do.
Right. And this is what we tell everyone is start small. If you're an RVer and you're a weekender, then try a week. If you're thinking about full-timing.
Yeah.
If you're just a weekender, try a week. And then if you do it, 4 or 5 days, then try a month maybe. But don't just jump into it and go buy the biggest, Prevost Class A bus you can get. And, start off within your means. Start off a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. See, because yes, if we had sold our house and everything, then we'd just been stuck. But we already knew that we could do this and that this is what we do because we had been doing it for a while. I mean, even at the house, we would stay out the campground out there for a month or something.
No, really.
Or, I mean, we know we can stay out there. It's not, it wasn't that big of a deal to us, but you have to start slow. Don't just, next Friday, sell all your stuff and be like, hey, I'm full-timing now. Because it may not be what you think it is.
Yeah.
It's a great way of life, but it is what you make it. And it's, it's not like your normal going to the laundry room to wash your laundry and then you can go upstairs and take a shower real quick or whatever. Or,
I forgot to mention that earlier.
A big stove and stuff to cook your dinners and all that on. I mean, that don't happen. And so you can't just jump in with both feet having never done it.
Right. I think some people do that and it works for some people. I've heard a few people talk about like they just sold it all and never even been in a camper before, never owned one, never pulled one. And I think that's pretty brave and awesome.
It is.
Baptism by fire.
Yeah. But it could definitely backfire for sure. But for us, like we had been RVers for many years. So it was a little bit easier for us. But so, yeah, we've always like suggested, especially if you don't even have an RV, like at least go rent one. Like even when we came back from from once Shane retired, he retired in Portugal. We came back to Texas. His family all had RVs and would always go RVing. At the time, we didn't really know what we wanted. We didn't know if we wanted a fifth wheel, if we wanted a Class C, like what we wanted. So we were like, let's just rent one. Let's rent them and see, and then figure out from there. And that's how we were able to figure it out. So that's another tip that we always give is try to go rent one. Like there's so many, like RV Share even, you can, or whatever. Yeah, there's lots of companies that you can rent it from somebody that owns it already even, and they'll set it all up for you. And at least you can don't even have to pull it now, because when we did it, we rented it from on base, and we still had to go pick it up on the base and then take it to the, pull it to the campground. But they even have places now where you can just go, you just drive to the campground. It's already there set up for you and everything. So like it makes it a lot easier now to try it out. Because we had a friend actually, I think it was Shane's 50th birthday party or something, and they did that where they had the art. It was though.
Don't be telling people.
They had it set up there at the campground. All they did was show up. But they had never been in an RV before, and so they went. And after that weekend, she's like, "I can't do this. I cannot." She's like, "There's no way that I could do." So at least they weren't out of $50,000-$100,000 from an RV that they bought. They tried it out, and she's like, "No, it's not for me." And that's fine. It's not for everyone. But yeah, at least try to rent one on your own. Try to rent it through a company where it's set up for you. Ask a friend to borrow theirs even. Go stay at their house in their backyard. Anything to try it out first. Because, I mean, it's a big change going from a house to a small RV for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And also one more thing on that is if you've never pulled a trailer, you might get some help before.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems easy, just pull it down the straight line down the road, and there's more to it. I mean, even the wind on the road, you got to know, slow that thing down a little bit, wider turns, backing up. There's a lot of people who can't back anything. I've helped a lot of people actually in campgrounds that get there and they're like, "Oh no, I thought I had a pull through and I can't back this thing up." But just make sure you know what you're doing. Just go out in a Walmart parking lot after closing or something and practice backing up. School parking lot, practice backing it into the lanes or whatever.
That's a good idea. But there's also classes out there. I know like FMCA offers one where they teach you how to drive and back up and all that. I think Lippert does one. I don't know. But there's definitely classes that you take. Maybe even RV dealerships. I think some of them even have where they could, teach you how to do that. So that's always good to know, especially as female. It's more of a male, it's usually the husband or whoever that pulls, but not always.
So most of the time, but
no, I'm saying there are a lot of, there's a lot of like bad females out there that are like, "No, I'm going to do this. I'm going to learn how to do it." We have a great friend that does that. And I think it's amazing, that it's kind of, a little bit of both now. And I think that's great. But they have lots of classes for you to learn how to tow, how to back it up, how to set it up, all of that.
Yeah, and how to travel just in general. I mean, you got to be a lot further away from something else when you're pulling something, because it's going to take a little longer to slow down. A lot more weight, a lot more momentum, a lot more going on. You get up doing, get up next to a trailer. No, sorry, a semi trailer. A truck going down the road. That thing's going to actually pull you in, which is actually a strange thing. I finally noticed it. I mean, you noticed it a little bit with a car, but then on a motorcycle, I was going down the interstate one time, and it pulled me in. I was kind of shocked. It was a windier day, but it like I almost smacked the side of it. Like, okay, well, all right. I needed to lean the other way a little bit. We good.
Oh, that's scary.
Yeah.
But with a fifth wheel, it's a totally different animal. Even with you guys with the truck camper right now. I mean, that's a sail on top of your car. It's pulling you around like crazy. It's heavy. And you're driving probably a 3,500 1 ton to hold this thing, because it looks like you got to slide out. So I'm assuming you got a 1 ton. But it's even that alone. I was driving I hopped in a B+ today and rode it down the road, no problem. I mean, like I said, I grew up in big equipment. It's not a big deal for me, but a lot of people, that's scary. They can't see. They don't know what these wide mirrors. I mean, it's totally different animal. And practice makes perfect, or makes you better at least.
Yeah, definitely.
So, All right. Well, future plans. Where are you heading next? What are you doing? What's the future goals for the RV journey? And I guess, how do you see your RV life evolving? It sounded like you want to get rid of both the big ends and land somewhere in the middle.
That's the plan. Yeah.
Preferably kind of like a Class C, maybe.
Yeah.
Something like
a small Class C is what we're.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we're, either that or a smaller, not huge travel trailer, but
as far as plans, of course, right now this is our time of year to go back to San Antonio, and we'll spend a couple months there, and then our plan is to go. We haven't been on the northeast side of the United States yet, so maybe our plans are over on the northeast this coming year, starting in the spring.
Yeah, I want to go up there real bad during the fall.
Yeah. Bad. Oh yeah. We're hoping to stay till around the fall time.
Yeah, so we're gonna. That's probably our plan, and that'll be our last of the 50 states, hopefully. So we're gonna call it 50 and 5.
Yeah, next year. So that's our motto, or whatever you want to call it, for next year, is because that'll be our 5-year at the next October. So we want to hit all 50 states in 5. So it's our 50 and 5 is going to be our motto, or whatever you want to call it, for next year. So yeah, we want to hit, and we're also going to be, hopefully, is the plan, to May for our 30th anniversary. We're going to fly to Hawaii and do a rental there, because we've been to Hawaii before, but we're not counting it because we didn't RV there. So we want to, so we want to go get like a little van or whatever, just something to say that we've RV'd in Hawaii. So that'll be our 30-year anniversary in Hawaii. And then, then come back and finish the rest of the 50 states next year. That's our big plan for next year.
That's cool. It's kind of on my to-do list for the Hawaii thing. I want to go there, like take 2 weeks, live in the van, because you can park up. You can literally back up to the sand, camp out. And I'm just going to get someone to teach me how to surf. That's all I want to do. Just leave. Really I can live in a van, no problem. Like, just teach me how to surf. That's all I want.
There you go. So, that would be awesome. So that's our plan for now, is for, to try to figure out, like, that was another reason, like the fifth wheel's just, it's a little big and cumbersome. We're getting a little bit older in age, so that, and the truck camper is, we love the truck camper, and it's been great, to us, and it's, we got it for Alaska. We took it to Alaska. We had some great times, but it's we're wanting somewhere in the middle.
Because the truck camper, it's, if we get out like where we are now, just outside of Fort Worth, we have to pack everything up and take the whole thing with us.
Yeah.
I mean, I can take it off, but that's more work than it is to even go.
It's not easy.
And then the fifth wheel is too big to be toting around some of these little switchbacks and these little towns.
Yeah, we did that.
So that's why we decided. We decided in the middle is where we need to be. So if we got something like a Class C, we could tow a Jeep or a little car or something behind it,
something
so we would have something to run around these different places and do that kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely.
But as far as, I think one of the parts of that question was about longevity or something, or how long we plan doing it, what have you. My plan is, if I'm fortunate enough to make it to 150, that's how long I'm going to do it.
Oh, you love it that much?
I do. This is the best life to me. Because, I mean, I'm not on a mortgage. I can change my backyard every day if I want to. I can keep it the same for however long I want to.
No property taxes.
I can meet who I want to. No property taxes. I can.
Hey, I've never heard that, but that's a good point.
No property taxes. That's one of the biggest perks.
And if you don't want to be in an RV park, there's plenty of places out there you could live. Absolutely, if you paid your camper off in your vehicle, you can live absolutely free out there, other than food.
Yeah.
No tax, no nothing.
Yeah.
And it's fun to me. I just enjoy going different places. But
I won't say that never would we ever move back into a house, because you never know what's going to happen. Anything could happen, to either one of us. I mean, doesn't matter. You could still live in an RV, even if you're older and you can't do whatever or something happens. But I mean, like I said, anything could happen. And one day we might have to move back into a house. I don't foresee it happening anytime soon. I would love to do this until we can't do it anymore. That's my plan, is just till we can't do it anymore. And then we may just sit in a campground and, stay there until we go wherever.
Well, I hope you guys keep doing it because it seems like you really love it. So
yeah.
But along the way, 4.5 years, I'm sure you found some gadgets, some gizmos, some add-ons that you absolutely love, and you're like, I couldn't do this without these things. What are those things?
I would say first would be like snap pads, like for your jacks and stuff. Those are like amazing to have. Couldn't live without though. I mean, you can live without them, but they sure make it a lot easier to have, especially on a fifth wheel. To just not have to get under there, all of that. You're more great at this kind of stuff, like the outside stuff or whatever.
Yeah, but not every camper has your basic stuff whatever you get extra is stuff you want, but it does make life easier. And that's what I would think, like, that's what I need. And I mean, the simplest thing is outdoor chairs, the little, chairs like that. We've got a 3-filter water system for when we boondock.
That's good.
That's a great item to have for fresh water. You don't necessarily have to have it. You can probably get by. You may get a few germs, but with this, I mean, it's just clear. It's clean water.
Yeah, which is nice because sometimes when you go boondocking and you fill up, you don't really know what kind of water is coming in there for sure.
One of my favorites is a good cooler.
No, of course. Gotta have a good cooler.
What is your cooler?
I'm sorry?
What is your cooler?
The one I'm traveling with now?
The one we have now. We have the Core.
Yeah, it's called Core.
Core equipment. Yeah.
Core. And it's
nice because it has the magnet top.
It's a zipper, but it also just, if you're just sitting there, you can just let it go, and it's got a magnet, so you don't have to unzip it every time. You just lift it up and let it go.
Yeah. Which, the Yeti ones, you have to unzip, and it's so hard to unzip. This is nice that you just have the magnet to open it.
Yeah, that's good. And then my number one must-have that makes things easier, my tools. I travel everywhere with my tools.
That's true.
I never leave them anywhere.
No, that is true. The whole back seat, half of the whole back seat is all of his tools. That's one thing he did not get rid of, was his tools. But he's like, I can't. And all the time, he's like, oh, there. Well, hold on. I got, like, we were in Alaska, and so I don't remember who it was. Somebody needed a screw or whatever it was. So he's like, hold on. He goes there digging all through, and he's like, I got that screw right here. Or I have that.
Would you look at that?
Like you were talking earlier, we're going out on the tractor. He's like, oh, I got that. Don't worry.
And that's what Sam and them, they had a water leak. And he said, I don't guess you have any PEX crimpers, do you? And I said, I sure do. He said, okay, I'll go get some clamps. And I've got the clamps too, if you just want. Just random stuff that I fix about anything out here.
I told you he's a hoarder. But it's good to have those kind of things for sure.
But that's some of my must-have things.
Yeah.
And a tire table, outside little table. We got one that's called a tire table. It hooks onto my tire. And then it's got a little kick leg out that comes out and it sits on the ground. It's probably I don't know, 3x3 table or something. I used to cook on sometimes outside or what have you.
I think I've seen that. Those are pretty cool.
Yeah.
They kind of just like latch over and kind of grab onto the tire.
Yeah.
And they can kick out the legs. Yep.
Yeah. It's good for like anything too. You could use it on like if you have a Jeep or a SUV and you're out on your motorcycle or whatever and you want to pull over and make lunch, you just pull it out or whatever. It's pretty cool. So I would say also like a must-have gadget for us, I think any RVer should have, is a dehumidifier. Because like I know people are like, oh, I live in the dry area or whatever, but any rain that you get you're going to get moisture in. And if it's a humid climate, definitely need a dehumidifier. And even if it's not humid, like we still get like just a little bit of water in any. Like that's your number one, nemesis in an RV is water. You don't want any water anywhere. So that's why, we've always had a dehumidifier in all of our RVs that we've ever owned. It's just Yeah, you don't want, and it also helps, like it keeps your RV cooler. In the summertime, it helps with keeps the humidity out, so it's cooler inside. Like they're just, all around great for everything.
You'd be surprised the moisture in the air. If you get one, if you don't have one and you get one, the amount of water that collects in that thing is crazy.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely one. Yeah. Gosh, there's so many gadgets. I don't know.
Foldable or collapsible.
Any kind of collapsible items are good. Yeah, that's true. Because you don't have a lot of, especially in our truck camper, we don't have a lot of space. So any RV, you're not going to have the same amount of space that you have in your house. So they have collapsible bowls, collapsible colanders, all kinds of things that collapse. So then they're not taking up this much room in your cabinet. They're only taking up this much room. So things like that help. Yeah. Any kind of storage things are always good.
If you don't mind me asking, the table, what did that run you? I can look it up, but my phone's over there.
No, we worked with them, so I don't know exactly what it runs.
Well, that's cheating.
Yeah, sorry.
How about the core cooler then? Did you have to buy that one, or you work with them too?
No.
You guys are doing it right. That's awesome.
Yeah, I can send it to you though if you want. I can send you the links to everything.
Perfect. Well, I'm guessing you have some affiliate links and all that in your link in bio and Bitly and all that.
Yep.
In your link tree or whatever it may be. So check out all those things. I'm sure they got lots of them. And last thing, what's your why? Why do you do it? You kind of answered it a little bit, Shane. You jumped into it. You love watching her see all these new things. And then Patty, again, you just like doing it, meeting new people and all these experiences you're having. But like, what else drives you to do so?
I think
freedom.
Yeah, freedom's a big one for sure. We like having our freedom. I had a 9-to-5 job before we went full time, and in that job, I was having like so much anxiety. I had to take it was like such a stressful job. I was having to take like anxiety medication. I'm not saying that everyone's job is that way, absolutely not. Mine just happened to be that way. So this has given me I don't have to take that medication anymore. So it's given me like my health back.
Your life back.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't, I was like, I can't believe I'm having to take medication just to be able to go into work, because these people at work are like, they're really I was having panic attacks, and I'm like, so it's really given me my health and my life back. Like I don't have to do that anymore. I haven't had an anxiety attack or I mean, I do get still like tiny bits of anxiety every once in a while, depending on what it is, but not.
I can.
That driving down that or when we were up on the ATV trail just a little bit, but no, but these things I can control. Like, you know what I mean? Like I know that, okay, that's something that I did wrong, or that now I know what to do to, you know what I mean? To kind of, it's not like I knew that, okay, tomorrow I've got to go back in there and I've got to face this again and I've got to do this and that. And no matter how many times I tried to tell them, like, this is too much. You're asking too much of me. Like I didn't care. So, and, I mean, people still have to work, obviously. We're lucky that we have a retirement and that sort of thing, and content creators, but there's, that like, it's just kind of helped me with that sort of thing. And I'm sure there's people that are going through the exact same thing. I'm not saying quit your job, but hopefully you can find a different job to where you don't have to have that kind of stress and anxiety and stuff. That's no way to live. So that's definitely what I've gotten out of this for sure. Besides the awesome places and traveling with my best friend all over and seeing these great places. Yeah.
Shane? Pondering.
It's just the same for me. I mean, my reason why is just to be able to go. I'm not tied down to anything. I can be if I want to. I mean, I can stay however long I want to at any spot, but I just enjoy the going. I don't even think necessarily the getting there. I just like the going.
What about the age? Like us still being able to.
And that's another reason why we're doing it now is so we're young enough to still make it down the steps without too much problem. We're getting up. A lot of these guys out here, you see their knees are bad and stuff, and they spend a lot of their time inside. And good on them. They're still out here, but I just didn't want to be one of those guys that they can't unhook my trailer if I get too old or what. I just wanted to do it now while I can. I can enjoy it.
We can still hike
without problems. Yeah, I'm still hiking. And it's like I said earlier, just the freedom to do what I want to do. That's why I do it.
Yeah. And like you said, like to be able to, like we talked about doing it, much later, but now we're still young enough that we can still get out and do all the things. Yeah. We're not just going and looking or whatever. We can go out and actually participate and go like hike or kayak or whatever,
Yeah.
So that's
you took your own life by the horns, really. I mean, you're living, you took freedom to a different animal, and like, I'm here to live and see. And I mean, like, I'm sure you're not the only one that has anxiety attacks at work. I mean, I did once in college ball because I was stressed with everything else, and that's not fun. It's not enjoyable, but life is about living.
Yeah.
The 9 to 5 is brutal sometimes. I know. I'm doing it right now, but I like you guys. I love talking to y'all. It's really enjoyable.
That's good.
And we're not trying to talk anybody out of working. It's just we're fortunate enough to be able to do this.
Yeah.
And that's why we do it.
Yeah, that's our why.
I mean, if it wasn't, we'd be working right there beside everybody else.
Right.
Or most people. But we've gotten lucky enough to where we can do this.
Mm-hmm. And there's ways to do it for sure. Lots of ways.
But along that point, this is like one thing I really like to talk about is y'all don't consider yourselves like trust fund babies. Just had a lump of cash. Like you are normal folks that just took this leap of faith and say, I want to do this. And gosh dang it, doesn't matter how, I'm going to make it happen.
Exactly.
You're normal folks and y'all do it.
I've got some good friends of mine that they camp on the weekends from Memorial Day to Labor Day, and they're out there every weekend, and they're wondering why, like, hey man, why are you doing this? And I'm like, well, I already came to the realization I'm never going to be rich, and while I've got the money just to sustain whatever I want to do, that's what I want to do. Then I'm not going to have millions of dollars to leave my kids, or I haven't been given millions of dollars.
No.
I made my own way, and this is how I choose to use it.
Right.
And I mean, I'm never going to be rich, so
yeah.
Well, ain't no need in sitting there and putting money in the bank, putting money in the bank.
Can't take it with you.
Then I'm going to die. Yeah, then I'm going to die, and then that's that, and then never got to do what I wanted to do. But
exactly.
I do now. I took that and said, okay, let's just go. We'll live in our means, and here we are.
He was enlisted in the military, not an officer. So we make enough to like buy some groceries or something with, from the retirement. It's not a lot. But yeah, it's, we both grew up, lower class probably. And nobody has given us any millions of dollars. I mean, if anybody wants to, sure, we'll take it. But Shane plays the lottery now that we're back in Texas. He plays the lottery every time we're here. So maybe one day we might be. But no,
that'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be awesome. But we're just normal people that he was, a retired master sergeant, and we're able to, get enough money from that, and then our content creation. And yeah, that's it. I had a part-time job for a little bit, but and then we work camp also to help, but we're not rich or trust funds, not at all.
There was another good one real quick that kind of, after you do this for a while, it's just kind of, it is what it is. It just is what it is. And we've had a couple that called us that they actually quit their jobs because of a picture that we had put, or that Patty had put out on Instagram. They called us to tell us, like, we were the first ones they told that they were doing this. They said, we're selling our house. We're going full time now just because of that picture y'all put out there.
Well, They had been talking about it for many years, and he retired from the Air Force as well. And then they were like, oh, now we're going to buy this big house. And then, But anyway, not that has anything to do with it. But
No.
they just he was like almost having the same issue at work. He was having all the stress because after he retired, he went and got another job. And it's like, you know, so many people do that. And it's like, but yeah, they just were like, I'm so glad that I saw that picture that day. And it made me realize we're at Glacier National Park. And he's like, and it made me realize I need that. Like, I don't need all this stress at work. We can live off of my retirement. I don't need to have another job and all the stress. And so, yeah, they called us first to let us know. And I was like, oh, that's awesome that you guys, and now they're out traveling, and she's always sending me pictures and like, this is so awesome. We're living the best life. And yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Well, that's darn cool. I kind of measure like how I'd hang out with people, and I'd probably have a couple beers with y'all. I think we'd get along just fine.
Nice.
We would love that. If we ever get where are you guys located?
Boise.
Oh, Boise. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. I love Idaho. We definitely coming back there.
Yeah, it's a wonderful place. It's I got fortunate enough to move out here, work for this company. So I'm very lucky. Again, I can take out any used RV basically anytime I want.
Nice.
But I have a lot of camping. I like sleeping on the ground. I'm one of those people. But eventually I'll get to the point where I want to take a camper with me. But anything else you guys want to share?
I did want to add one more thing, I think, to the why, like what he was saying about our friends or whatever. I think that's another why for me is kind of inspiring others. Like we get that a lot that people say, you know, maybe we didn't inspire them to quit their job and go full time, but maybe we inspired them to get out and camp. Like we even have people say, we've never camped before and we want to try it because we see you doing it. And we did it and we love it, you know, so we may not be inspiring them to live like us, but we have inspired, and we get messages all the time, people saying we've inspired them or inspired them to switch jobs because they're like, I'm not happy in this job, and you're reminding me that life is short and that we need to do what makes us happy. And so, yeah, I've had people tell me, or one lady just told me that the other day. She's like, I just couldn't handle my job anymore. It was just too stressful. So I quit, and now I'm taking another job. And she's like, it may not be as much money, but I'm happy. So yeah, that's all that matters is that you're happy, I think, and live the life how you want to.
Absolutely. So like, you know, the bucket list keeps getting longer, but as you go on in life, your life keeps getting shorter. So you better start checking them damn things off.
Exactly. Absolutely. Yeah. Shane didn't even realize how many bucket list items I had till we started going full time.
Everything's our bucket
list. They keep
list.
Stacking up.
He says that every time. You said that's more stuff on your bucket list. So many things. He always says that.
Awesome, guys. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up here. Thank you so much for joining me today. I know it's kind of been a little bit of a hassle trying to get me on here, but it's been a pleasure talking to you guys. Absolutely.
You as well. Thank you.
Check out Gills on Wheels on Instagram, TikTok. You guys have your own website as well. Please follow them. They are wonderful. They're going to teach you how to do this thing. Go outside full time, get out and camp, whatever it may be, inspire you to do those things. If you haven't heard anything from us before, please give us a follow. We're going to be talking to influencers. We're going to talk to manufacturers. And we're also going to be branching out a little bit. We're going to be talking to coolers, camping, everything around camping involved. We're going to start doing that as well. Today we talked to Cordova Coolers. That's where I came from before this. And they're kind of competitors with Yeti and Arctic and all that. So, guys, again, thank you so much for joining. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you guys. It's probably my favorite interview so far. So,
thank
don't
you
tell
so
everybody
much.
that. You guys are absolutely wonderful. So,
thank you. Hope we can have a beer together one day.
It'll be more than one, I guarantee it.
Awesome.
All right, y'all. Again, thank you very much. And y'all, listening and watching, stay tuned for more from the RV Boys.